Welcome to another segment of Finances with Uncle Nev. If you have been following this series, we were dealing with someone making $100,000 a year. And I showed you where, after subtracting federal and state taxes, you would have been left with $77,600. And we said, in the real world, you should at least have 10% of the 77,600 for investments, 10% for emergencies, and 5 for disposable for things like vacation and clothing. That would leave you with $58,200, and that should be covering everything else, your wants and your needs. But then when I went in and did some research as to exactly what the various things people were spending money on and did the various line items, I was seeing where people were overspending anywhere from $33,000 up to 60 something thousand dollars. And at that point, they were not saving anything. They had nothing set aside for emergencies and nothing for disposable. Now, in order to destroy all of that bad situation, I would like you to adopt what I call today a boot camp approach. And I'm going to call it a nuclear approach to reducing debt. So today I would like to go to the transportation area. And the intention there is to reduce your monthly outlay by at least 10%. And so, based on my background and my knowledge, I did not think that at this point you should be looking at a new vehicle. I would suggest that you look at a pre-owned vehicle. What is a pre-owned vehicle? It is something that someone might have leased or came in with very high mileage in very good condition, and the dealership would have put it through its various tests and what have you, and warranty that the vehicle would have been good for X number of miles and a time period. Now, in order to acquire this used vehicle, you need to do some work up front. First, you have to decide what are your needs for this vehicle. Is it for durability, reliability? Are you looking for a performance vehicle? Are you looking for safety, appearance, recreation? You decide. But at the end of the day, you will discover that there are sources out there that can assist you in deciding how you can go about choosing a vehicle. For example, you have Consumer Digest, you have Edmunds, you have Kelley Blue Book, and if you went to magazines, you would see names like Motor Trend and Car and Driver. I personally like 6 or 7 such vehicles that one should consider when acquiring a used vehicle. And the reason for this is that you need something that's going to be hanging around for quite some time until you can come up from underneath the water and catch your breath. Some of these vehicles, and in no real order, would be Honda, Toyota, Mazda, Subaru, Lexus, Nissan, and Kia. These cars tend to hang around to the point where you're almost tired of seeing them. So again, once again, these are my 7 suggestions. You do not have to take it, but again, it's a suggestion. Now let's take a deep dive into purchasing this new vehicle. This used vehicle. So once you have done your research, going to various sources, I would suggest that you select 3 vehicles. What are you going to do? Pick the phone up and maybe make an appointment with the dealership, and you go in and you're going to be taking what is called a test drive. At that point, the salesperson will ask for your driver's license and your insurance. Now, once you go on a test drive, you should be listening for sounds. And if something doesn't sound right, you want to make a note of it. Drive the vehicle both in city on highways to see how it responds. Very, very important. Check the brakes. Tell the salesperson while you're driving, look, I'm going to hit the brake to see what's going on here and see how well the vehicle responds. Okay. When you get back from the test drive, I'd like you now to inspect the vehicle. Let's start from the hood. You lift the hood panel up and you can pull out the oil dipstick, wipe it out, stick it back inside, take it back out, and you're looking to see the color of the oil. Is it dark in color or just the color that oil you usually come looking at? Or you might want to do something like the power steering, do the same procedure and see what it looks like. If these oils are dark, you want to make a note of it because you'll have to come back later on and address this with the salesperson or the manager. Moving along the side of the vehicle, you are going to be looking at the panels. Do the panels line up? You know where the door is, left or right? And if something is not in alignment, it might suggest that the vehicle might have been in an accident. Move along the side of the vehicle, one door, the next door, to the trunk, and you're looking for dents. How do you find out what's going on? Step back a little and look down the side of the vehicle, and you might see a slight indentation, or you might see where the color doesn't quite match, and that is an indicator that the car might have been painted. You want to know why. In other words, the person who painted that car from the accident, they did not match the color properly. When you're through checking the vehicle all over for dents and what have you, take a look inside. You want to examine the dashboard to see if everything is in order. But then do what I call a smell test. What you're smelling for are things like a mildew smell. Why are you checking for that? The possibility that the vehicle might have been underwater or in a flood situation, because then mildew might be hanging around. That's what you're smelling. And that, as you know, is very, very bad for your health. Also, look around inside of the vehicle, check the carpet, look for watermarks along the side of the vehicle, I mean, inside of the vehicle. And if you see watermarks, again, that is a sure sign that the vehicle had some water issues. Now, you cannot cover all the angles. So what you want to do is go and ask them for now a Carfax report. And what you're trying to accomplish there is to see what has been reported for the vehicle. Was that vehicle being serviced in a timely fashion? And at what mileage intervals was the vehicle certified? And you can see step by step by step if that checks out. If the vehicle did not return within that time period, you want to know what is going on. Check for recalls. Did the manufacturer send out recalls and that wasn't taken care of? And of course, check for accident report. If all this checks out, you say to the salesperson, I am not a mechanic, but I'm spending large dollars here. I would like to take that vehicle to an inspector who you'd made an appointment with. The dealership at that time might tell you, no, we're not going to allow that. And that could be due to the fact that dealerships have lost a lot of vehicles. Sometimes that's the last time they see that vehicle because people with nefarious thought processes decide that they were going to steal a vehicle, ship it abroad, whatever it is.
Until we meet again!
Or they might just think it's not worth going through the hassle. But let's assume they say yes because they feel that your vehicle is in good condition. So you take it down to the inspector. He or she will do the same things you did, inspect it inside and outside, but now with their mechanical expertise, They're looking for other situations. And at the end of their going back and forth, they'll issue a report saying, yes, suggest you buy the car. No, or maybe. And maybe means there are some issues that needs to be corrected. At that point, you'll ask the dealership, well, are you willing to fix these things? And if they say yes, then the next step, of course, would be to start negotiating the price. Nobody in these modern times pays sticker anymore.
Hank, I do not know an easy way to say this, so I guess I will just say it the slow and painful way. No one pays sticker price. Tom Hammond ripped you off and has been ripping you off for the last 25 years.
What?
So you're looking to buy a car, are you?
Yes, sir. But this is my first car, so I don't really know what I'm doing.
You see the price on that sticker? Well, that's the price you're gonna pay for this car, not a dime more for the football star.
Wow. Well, thank you.
Now you gotta promise me you won't go telling anybody about the deal I just gave you.
There's always room for some sort of deduction. But then expect to go back and forth, salesperson to manager, for them to arrive upon a price that you're satisfied with. Now, remember, the vehicle should be certified, wherein it should tell you how long, how many miles it's been certified for, and get that in writing. No word of mouth here.
I want to see what you just said written on paper.
Very important, because invariably you come back in and say, oh, I'm sorry, it's not covered. If all that goes well, they'll now take you to the finance office. And they expect the finance people to do a number of things. They're going to check your credit, get a FICO score, and if you're, say, less than 700, you most likely will not get any advertised specials. But you'll see maybe a point or two, maybe even 3% added to the interest that's been advertised. However, if you are on the right side of, say, 720, 740, you're in the great sweet spot wherein now you should be getting that advertised special, or better yet, you can go to your bank or credit union and see what rate they can finance the vehicle at. Also, remember that the finance person is going to try to sell you a number of things: extra warranty, paid coverage, this, that, the devil knows what. But then this is where you need to be very careful, because some dealerships, everyone, not all, will get very greedy. And their approach is to take as many dollars as they can from your bank. Now, when all this is said and done, you will sign the documents and you're ready to leave. But before you leave, under no circumstances should you leave that dealership without your insurance company know about it. See, in some states, they'll tell you, oh, you're covered for 30 days under your current insurance plan. And that, while that might be true, take the cautious route. Call your insurance company, give them all information they need, the VIN number. They might ask, so how much you're paying, you paid for the vehicle, etc., etc. But satisfy their needs. Have them fax to you or emailed to you that new insurance card showing you that your vehicle is covered. And why am I stressing this? Very important. You know, when I was selling cars, I saw a couple of things happen. Somebody drove up with a brand new car, and under that system where they say you're automatically covered with your old insurance, the car did not go 100 yards. It was in an accident, wiped out. Second example, used vehicle. Same thing happened. And guess what? They had a hard time with the insurance company collecting or getting coverage on anything. So it's very important. Always, and I say always, get the car covered before you leave the dealership. Now, there are other things that I purposely did not bring to this meeting here, and it's very simple. It's a lot of stuff you got to go through, but hopefully you would have gotten at least a good framework as to exactly how to purchase this new car, what kind of vehicles you should be purchasing, and at the end of the day, be able to save that 10% we are shooting for to reduce our overall spending. Now, if what I just said is a benefit to you, do not be selfish. Do tell your friends and family to listen to this video, and hopefully they're going to like it. As a matter of fact, they're going to love it. Have them hit the subscribe button, have them like it, and have them ring the bell, because in so doing, ringing the bell, other videos as they are put out there, you're going to receive it. And believe me, you are going to love me. So until next time, this is your host, Uncle Nev, saying, keep it simple and live within your means. Have a good day.